Good afternoon. How's everyone doing? God, that's bright. In the wrong spot. There we go. How's it going? Good. Welcome to Tuesday. Hope your week's going all right. So my name is Stephanie Barone. I'm the pre-health advisor. I see some familiar faces in the room. I think I've met with a few of you. I am here just at the beginning to introduce myself and make sure that you all know kind of what pre-health advising services is all about. Really, your headliner is Caitlin from Health Studies, and then we've got the Diversity Center up after that. But I like to come to these things just to make sure you all know that you do have a pre-health advisor here on this campus. And my role really is to work with anybody who is planning to go on into a health-related graduate program. Work with a lot of medical, dental, pre-pharmacy students, physical therapy, anything that you might be doing in the future related to health and needing to go on to a graduate program for that. So a lot of what I can do for you is help you understand the admissions requirements for those programs, how to be a competitive applicant, the application process, and just how to navigate all of that. So you do have somebody here on this campus for that. And it's a good segue for the health studies major, which Caitlin's going to talk about. It's a great major for pre-health. There's a lot of sciences that are involved with that program. A lot of times students who think they want to go into medical or dental school think they have to major in biology or chemistry, but health studies is a great option for that. And I would say for my pre-health population here, biology and health studies are actually the top two, even over chemistry, as far as what students choose to major in, if that's their path. So, wanted to just introduce myself, let you know that I was here. I'll let Caitlin get chatting, but I do have a sheet up here that goes over prerequisites for different programs that are out there. If you came to orientation this summer and heard my pre-health session, you probably picked up one of these and seen some nods. But if you did not, or you lost it, and you'd like to see what are some of the prerequisites that you would need for medical school, for dental school, for pharmacy, this chart will go over that, okay? So that you can do a comparison and see what you might be getting yourself into. You choose one of those. So I'll go ahead and just pass it around. Take one if you want. You can leave little extras up here at the end. But if you haven't picked one up and you want one, I will do that. Okay. All right, thanks.
Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin. So I'm the Health Studies Advisor in the School of Nursing and Health Studies. And today I'm going to talk a bit about all three of the degree programs the school offers, but we're really going to focus on Health Studies, which you'll understand why in a second. But before we jump into talking about the classes and the degree requirements and career pathways, I want to start by talking about clicker work. What is health? What is studying health like? So to me, health is all about choices. Are you a dog person or do you prefer cats? Are you gluten-free or are you gluten-please? Do you sanitize your hands with soap and water or do you more commonly use Purell? The choices that we make on an individual level can influence our health every day. But other choices or factors can also influence health at a population level, right? A much broader level. And it's important to think about these things as you're deciding whether a career or major in health might be useful for you. So let's talk about an example for a second. So let's say that someone is in a car accident and they break their leg. The most immediate factor might be the broken leg, and so they might go see a doctor, a nurse, or a clinician to get that fixed. But what are some other factors in this scenario that might influence health at an individual level and at a population level? So let's first think about individual level. Why did this person get into an accident in the first place? Could it be that they have a vision impairment of some sort? Could it be that they don't have, or they have poor knowledge of road rules or signs? Could it be that they were under the influence of drugs and alcohol? What about at the population level? Right now, let's think much more broadly. What are some of the laws that prevent accidents like this from happening, and who enforces these laws? What community organizations are out there to support this person after their accident or prevent accidents like this from happening? Or you can even think about what are some of the community attitudes towards safe driving? Were the roads well maintained? Is that maybe what caused the accident? Or was the person's car maybe not well maintained? And if their car isn't well maintained, why is that? Is it because they can't afford to maintain their car? And if that's the case, why can't they afford to maintain their car? Is it because they don't have a good paying job? And if that's the case, is it because they don't have good access to educational or vocational resources? And then lastly, what are the health services like in this person's community? Do they have access to these health services? And how will that determine their treatment after this accident? So as you can see, there is a ton of different dimensions or factors that might influence just this one scenario. And so it's important to think about studying health in this way, in a very broad way. Think about the individual choices we make every day, our lifestyle, our behaviors, the way that our physical environment, our social environment, our political environment all influence health, and how that influences the population as a whole. So if this type of scenario or these types of questions kind of pique your interest, you might have a future in studying health. So I am going to talk a little bit about nursing degrees, but very briefly, because our two nursing programs here at UW-Bothell are considered post-licensure, which means that you do need to have an RN license or a 2-year associate's degree in nursing before you can come back and finish these programs. So we do offer an RN to BSN program. That's for students that have their 2-year RN license and are coming to UW to advance their nursing career. We also have a graduate nursing program, so that's a master's program that are for nurses that have been in the nursing field for a while, and they're coming back to school to really enhance their education in administration, research, population health, things like that. If you have questions about nursing, if you want to go to nursing school eventually, you can definitely talk to Stephanie, or you can send me questions and we can help you kind of along the way. So what really I'm here to talk about today is the Health Studies Bachelor of Arts program. So the Health Studies program focuses on both social dimensions of health, so a lot of the things I just talked about on that side, as well as biological dimensions of health. And so that's why Stephanie mentioned it can be a really good major for pre-allied health students. So if you are going to med school, nursing school, PA school, this might be a good balance of taking those bio and chemistry classes that you need, but also understanding public health practice. So the most important thing to know about this major is it is rooted in public health practice. So we kind of introduce students to all of the different careers in health, whether that's going into being a clinician or going into public health practice. And the classes are designed to teach you about health policy, like what are they, what's the current policy in the US, what's some local health policy problem, what's some global health policy problems. We teach you how to use health education and community engagement strategies to kind of combat some of our biggest health issues. And we give you assignments in and outside of the classroom to work on those to get you some practical experience. We teach you how to apply social justice critiques to some of the world's biggest health problems. We teach you not only about local health, national health, but global health as well. And a lot of our classes require that you do some research digging into current health research, so you're understanding like what's happening right now in the world of health trends and health research. So now to get into the nitty-gritty, you can find all of this information on our webpage, so don't worry about jotting it all down, just go to our webpage. But our students are required to take a statistics course, 7 core courses, and these core courses really are the foundation of our public health practice. So we're introducing you to the fields of public health, we're teaching you how to evaluate and write health research, then we're teaching you how to understand the social dimensions of health. So going back to that car accident problem, thinking about all the ways our social and political systems have on our health and wellness. We also have a class on healthcare policy and systems, on epidemiology, which is disease, population level disease, epidemics, right, outbreaks. And then we have 2 more practical-based classes, pathways and fieldwork. And those are my 2 absolute favorite health classes. I mean, they're all cool, but those are my favorite because they connect what you're learning in the academic classroom to the practical world. So in Pathways, we show you all of the different paths in public health and in health careers. And we give you assignments that almost force you out into the real world to talk to a person who's actually, for example, a PA. Like what's their daily life look like? How did they get there? In fields work, we have you take it at the very end, like you're a senior about ready to graduate, you take fields work and you complete 40 hours of a community service project with a health organization. So that, number one, looks great on your resume, but number two can really show you that this is the path for you, that this is what you want to do for however long you choose. The rest of the major are electives. We have a ton of different elective classes that students can choose from, both in the School of Nursing and Health Studies and across UW's campus. So this is another way that our pre-allied health students, like pre-med, pre-PA, all of those students, can really integrate the classes that they need for med school, for example, with health studies, because we can use Gen Bio, Gen Chem, all of those classes as health studies electives, which can make it really interdisciplinary. So this is a question that I get a lot from our health studies students just starting out in the program. What can you even do with a health studies degree? And so I hope that I have maybe already shown you that your path in health can be very broad. Because our BA program covers public health as well as kind of health sciences, you really can go anywhere in health with this degree. So some of the most common career possibilities are listed on the slide. A lot of our students end up going on to graduate school or pre-professional health programs like med school to continue their education. But there's a lot that you can do with health. So if you're really interested in health administration, this might be a good degree for you. How about working with nonprofit organizations, community orgs? This might be a really good program for you. Maybe you want to work in school systems. Health educators are really, really needed right now, in not only locally, but in our country in general. And this might be a great program for you to do that. So, hopefully now, we've piqued your interest a little bit more. Maybe now you're thinking, how can you apply to the health studies major? So health studies accepts students into our program 3 times a year, autumn, winter, and spring. Our admissions is capacity constrained, so what that means is we have a large volume of applications every quarter and not enough seats for all of those applications. So that might make you nervous or worried, but the good news is that health studies practices what we call holistic admissions review, which means we're not just looking at your grades, we're taking into account our pre-admission requirements and the personal statement, the essay that you write to show us why are you interested in health, what's your passion for this program, and what are your experiences, what do you bring to the table. So for our pre-admission requirements, before you apply, you need to make sure that you have 2 English comp courses, a QSR course. We do recommend that you take statistics, it's preferred, but you don't have to. You can take a different QSR course and take statistics later. And then we also require 10 credits in each of the areas of knowledge. So those are, of course, BLPA, INS, and Natural World. The second part of the admissions process, like I said, is that personal statement. You want to make sure, if you're applying to health studies, that you start writing that personal statement early. Have your friends look at it, maybe ask a peer or an advisor, or go to the writing center to have lots of eyes looking at it. What we're really looking for is that you show motivation for the major. Why is this the major program for you? What experiences have you had, maybe in your personal life or professional life, that have influenced this decision? And then what are your goals moving forward? If you're wanting to apply to the health studies program like ASAP, if you have some of those prereqs completed, just to let you know, our application for admission to spring, so for next quarter, will be due on February 1st. It's very soon. And if you're looking to apply a little bit later on, the next application cycle will be to admit for autumn quarters, so next fall. That will open on April 1st and close on May 1st. All right. So any questions before I move on to minors? Any questions about the courses, the application, anything like that? Okay. Yeah.
So is this, if somebody wanted to become a doctor one day, is this kind of the path you would start on, or is it something totally different?
Well, so if you wanted to become a doctor, you would end up doing some type of major, and maybe it's health studies, maybe it's something completely different. But you also would have to take a separate set of classes that are like the pre-admission requirement for med school. So it's Gen Bios, Gen Chems, Physics, Calculus, those kinds of things. And that's Stephanie's wheelhouse. She's the expert, so definitely talk to her. But health studies can be a really good major for pre-med students because we can count some of those extra sciencey classes that you're taking in the major, and you're understanding the healthcare system, right? So you have a class to learn about, I know this sounds kind of boring, but like Medicare and insurance forms, like probably pretty useful if you're a doctor. We're also teaching you though about how to work with the community and communicate with people that might be a little bit different than you about health and wellness, which also be really useful for a doctor. So this might be a really good program for you if those types of classes are what you're looking at. Yeah?
I have a question because I haven't seen any like courses like bio, like chemistry on the application like requirement. So if we get into the major, do we have to study about like those? Like,
No, you don't. So you don't have to take those.
Okay.
Those are just one of the many health studies electives. So the 7 core courses that I mentioned, those all health studies students have to take. But then the rest of the courses in your major will kind of be up to you. We have a really long approved elective list. And those classes are in sciences, biology, chemistry, but they're also in education, they're in business. We have a ton of IS classes that people can take, like gender classes, sex education classes. There's a whole bunch of approved classes. So if you're more interested in going into public health, community health, working with nonprofit orgs, once you get into the major, you and I can work together to figure out what are the perfect electives for you and make that happen.
So just want to clarify, if I'm into like business, like marketing, right, and like gender and sexuality studies, I can still go to like health studies, as a degree, right? But like it's gonna be studied specifically about like something, not just only about chemistry, biology, and stuff.
Right, yeah, that's the beauty of the program. It's really interdisciplinary. We have a ton of students take biology and chemistry, but it's not required. So if you're not one of those pre-med students, if you don't have interest in biology and chemistry, totally take the more community health oriented classes. Good questions. Okay, so quickly I wanted to share a bit about our minors. So maybe a major in health studies is not the way you want to go. You might still want to consider adding an element of health to your degree program. So in the School of Nursing and Health Studies, we have 3 different minors. The first is the Health Studies minor. It's kind of like major light, right? So you still take some of our core classes, but you also can, you have way less classes and you can kind of pick and choose your electives a little bit easier. And the key learning objectives are on the slide. I always like to point out to students when I'm talking about the health studies minor that the UW School of Medicine mission statement pretty closely aligns to what we're trying to do in health studies, right? When they talk about health and well-being of the public, biomedical education, research, and healthcare. So if there are any future doctors in the room and you are planning to go into biology or chemistry as a major, you may still want to consider health studies as a minor. That might really help in your application process. We also have a minor in health education and promotion. So this minor teaches you how to improve and promote the health of local organizations or global organizations through education, right? So we're teaching you how to use different program planning strategies to combat certain health issues. All of the classes are really community-based. We give you assignments where you have to work with a community organization to, for example, develop a bus campaign about a certain health issue. So you get really good practical experience from that. And the coolest thing about this minor in my eyes is that if you finish the minor curriculum, you can qualify to sit for this Certified Health Education Specialist exam, which means that if you take the exam and you pass, you become a licensed health educator, which looks really good when you're trying to get jobs in schools, universities, or for community organizations doing health education work. So something to consider. The last minor that our school offers is global health. This minor teaches students how to analyze and understand different global health trends. So think about, again, that example that I shared. All of those compounding factors that influence health. Now we're teaching you about that at a global level. So how global systems, political organizations, and societal norms influence health and wellness. One of the coolest things about this minor is that we do allow study abroad credits to count in the minor. So another good minor to think about if you are interested in health. And I think with that, that is almost my time. Does anyone have any other questions for me? I'll leave some business cards up at the front, so if you do, definitely feel free to contact me. My email's on the side, so you can take a picture as well. Thanks, everyone.